Hello YouTube, Flightsimguy here. I'm at Bolton Field, Columbus, Ohio. Today I'm going to be doing an episode on how to taxi around at the airport. Now, why am I doing such a video doing a video in such a lame episode? I'll go ahead and get into that in a moment. First, I noticed I've gotten quite a bump of subscribers over the past couple of months, almost 500, largely due to my coverage of Flightsim Expo 28. Thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Haven't put up any content as of late. I've been taking a break, enjoying the summer, and trying to figure out where next to take the channel. I have done some flying. I haven't published anything, and I have gone on a spending spree of sorts. I've gotten the MD-11, Just Flight's DC-8, Airsoft's DC-8s, the BAE 146, Captain Sims 727. And a cute program called FS Captain. I'll go ahead and do a video on that in the coming weeks. Terrific product. So to go ahead and anyway, I've been wanting to do a video on taxiing for quite a while. You're probably wondering why such a lame subject as taxiing. Well, when I was at Flightsim Expo, one of our presenters said, you know, the truth of the fact is where we are with technology, we have some fantastic hardware and software. This is the golden age of flight simulation, but we're using our simulators wrong. The last thing we should be doing with our sims is using the sim to learn how to fly. That's the last thing we should be doing. They can teach us that in 18, 19 hours. The real value, you get the most value out of your sims with the non-flight stuff. Learning to talk with ATC, following checklist procedures, and taxiing. I mean, you can master the art of taxiing without setting foot in a real plane. And when you actually get into the real plane, you save a lot of money because you have everything down. So that's one of the reasons why I figured I'd spend some time talking about how to taxi. Also, I remember when I was flying for a Caribbean airline, a virtual airline, one of the hardest parts of my assignments was figuring out how to get from the ramp to the runway, because in multi-session, you don't have progressive taxi to guide you from where you are to where you need to be. So this is actually important stuff that we really and truly need to learn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over just some basic principles. I'm going to go over how to taxi with the nose gear exactly on the taxi line, how to read the taxi signs, the primary taxiways and the secondary taxiways, and then I'm going to show you how to use a taxi diagram to trace or outline the path of where you are to where you need to be based on ATC's instructions. So let me go ahead and hop in here, get the engine started, and we'll get going. All right. Didn't need to take you through the boring process of starting up one of my favorite aircraft, the Beach Duke. So let's go ahead and get going. Alright, so have you ever been to the airport, and have you ever noticed watching the planes on the ramp taxi around how the nose gear is perfectly planted on the taxi lines? You ever wondered how they do that? You know, sitting all the way up in the cockpit, how it's done? Actually, it's very simple. All you need to do to stay on the taxi line is to make the taxi line line it up with your plane so that the line runs right through the cockpit, right through the fuselage, and up through the right rudder pedal and through your right leg. Once you do that, let's see if I can get it right here, right about here. Once you do that, your nose gear is perfectly on the taxi line. Alright, next up, let's identify what taxiways are. By the way, like I said, this is TZR in Bolton. It is important to know when you're taxiing exactly where you are. So let's go ahead and do that. Here is Bolton Field. Let's see if I can do a side-by-side comparison. Here is Bolton Field. And here is the Bolton Field taxiway diagram that I got from SkyVector. Here's where I am on the sim, and you need to know where you are in the airport before you're going to be doing any taxiing. Let's get back into the cockpit. Now, reading taxi signs. Very, very easy. All right, let's go ahead and stop right here. Set the brakes. And let's take a look at that taxi sign right there. Now, when you see a sign that's black with a yellow letter in it, that's the active taxiway that you are on. All right. This is taxiway Bravo. Let me show you where that is. Here's where I am on the ramp, and here's where I am on the map. Taxiway Bravo, black sign with yellow letters. That's the taxiway you're on. All right. Primary taxiways are labeled with a single letter: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and whatnot. ATC refers to them with the phonetic alphabet: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Echo, Delta, and so on. When you see a sign that's yellow in the background with a black letter on it, you're about to intersect taxiway A. All right. So we're on B. That right there is taxiway A. Okay. B and A are primary taxiways. Secondary taxiways have a letter and a number, and I'll show you what that is right now. All right, here's a good spot. We are on taxiway A, Alpha. Yellow on black. A1, that's a secondary taxiway. That is that one right there. What that does is it connects taxiway A to the runway. Okay, A1. Follow the signs. That's all it is. Okay? And let's do one more. Okay, here's one last one. We are on taxiway A1. That's an active taxiway. That's this one right here. A1 connects runway 22 to taxiway A. A1, yellow on black. That's what's active. Let me show you where that is. It's right here on the ramp. And let me show you where it is on the map. It's right about here. All right. And for the most part, that's all you really need to know. You need a taxi diagram for the airport. You need to know where you are. You need to know where you're going. You need to know how to keep your nose wheel on the taxiway. Have the line run through the cockpit, through the fuselage, up through the right rudder, and through your leg. And you need to know that the primary taxiway is yellow letters on a black background, and they're labeled with a letter. And the secondary taxiways are two characters starting with a letter and with a number, such as A1, A2, A3, etc. And those connect the primary taxiways to primary taxiways, or connects the primary taxiway to the runway. All right, that's all. So let's go ahead and put this information to good use. All right, let's see if we can let us go ahead and put to use what we just learned. All right, so I went ahead and put myself at Atlanta. All right, here's where I am at the airport. All right. You want to make sure you can find yourself on the taxi diagram. So let me go ahead and put this up side by side to the diagram, and I think I can identify myself. I should be at location right about here. All right, so what we're going to do next, let's go ahead and call and get taxi instructions.
Atlanta, ground.
There we go.
Foxtrot, Sierra Golf, 6-9er. Request taxi for north departure with Kilo.
Beach Foxtrot, Sierra Golf, 6-9er. Taxi to and hold short of runway 8 left. Using taxiway Alpha 1-1, Alpha 6, Bravo 1-1, Bravo 7, Delta Alpha. Contact tower 123.85 when ready.
All right, so we got some good taxi instructions here.
Alpha 6, Bravo 1, 1, Bravo 7, Delta, Alpha, Beach, Golf, 6, Niner.
All right, so taxi to and hold short of runway 8 left using taxiways Alpha 11, Alpha 6, Bravo 11, Bravo 7, Delta, and Alpha. That's pretty complex, all right? And we're going to figure out how that is done. So let's go ahead and fire up my map. All right, so what I need to do is find myself on this map, all right? And according to this, I'm at right about here. All right, and I need to get to runway 8 left. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom out. 8 left is down here. I need to get to here. All right, so let's put it together. It's nothing more than a jigsaw. All right, so Alpha 11. So Alpha 11 is right here. So we're going to come to here. And we're going to take that to Alpha. Now, how do you know what direction to turn? Well, obviously, you're going to turn or go in the direction that takes you towards your runway. So in this case, you want to go right. I mean, picture yourself in the cockpit. Once you're here, you're going to be going right on Alpha, and you're going to take that to A6. So we're going to take this, we're going to keep coming, and A6 is right here. We just passed it. So let's go ahead and delete. Zoom in. We're going to take A6 and we're going to take that to B11. So we're going to take A6 to B11 right there, and then we're going to take B11 to Bravo. Okay, so we're going to come out to here. This is Bravo. Okay, right here is Bravo. All right, then we're going to take Bravo to B7. So we're going to take Bravo to B7, which is right there, and we're going to take B7 to Delta. Here is taxiway Delta. This right here is Delta. And then we're going to take Delta to Alpha. So let's go ahead and zoom out. We're going to take Delta to Alpha. Alpha is right here. Then we're going to take Alpha all the way down to the runway. And that's our taxi route. Now, obviously, we could have just stayed on Alpha here and forgot that part, but you know, that's the AI. I don't know why it does that. But let's go ahead and review real quick. Let's do it all over again. We are here. We need to get to here. Instructions are take Alpha 11, which is here. We're going to take that to Alpha, which is here. We're going to take Alpha to Alpha 6, which is here. We're going to take Alpha 6 to Bravo 11, come across to about here. We're going to take Bravo 11 to Bravo, which is here. Take Bravo to Bravo 7, come down to here. Take Bravo 7 to Delta, down here. Take Delta to Alpha, which is here, and then take Alpha down to the runway. Obviously, this is zigzag taxiways, which doesn't surprise me. ATC gives you zigzag vectors when you're flying, so I can see the same thing happening. But that's how it is, and it's just a matter of practice. And all you do is you get into the cockpit, get into your plane, and follow these taxi instructions. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. You know, this video is turning out to be a lot more complex and a lot longer than I thought it would take. Why? Because when I tried to do an example of taxiing from somewhere to the runway, all the airports I'm using, the simulator is grossly obsolete compared to the taxi diagrams that I get from SkyVector. I know the taxi diagrams that exist for the virtual airlines are more in line, but wow. Anyway, this time we're going to try LaGuardia. All right, so I'm at LaGuardia. Okay, LGA. Here's my location. Let's go ahead and pull up the map and see where I live on the taxi diagram, which should be right about here. And let's go ahead and get some taxi instructions. Let's go ahead and turn on sound.
Beach Foxtrot, Sierra Golf 69er. Taxi to and hold short of runway 4 using taxiway Mike Alpha Delta Bravo. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and pull this up and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom out. According to this, I'm right across from runway 31. Runway 31 is here. My location is right here. All right, and according to my instructions, I need to go to runway 4. So runway 4 is right here. All right, so all we need to do is connect the dots. We're going to start with taxiway Mike. So Mike is right here. I'm going to take Mike to Alpha. All right, so Mike, according to this, Mike is this right here. I'm going to take it around to Alpha right there. Then we're going to take Alpha to Delta. So Alpha runs around. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Alpha, run around. And pick up Delta, which is right here. Okay, so we're going to pick up Delta, cross over. Then we're going to take Delta to Bravo. Erase. We don't need to cross the runway. We simply pick up Bravo right here and take Bravo all the way to 4. Like that. And that's it. Let's do that again. We are here. We need to get to here. Taxi instructions say start out at Mike, come to Mike, take Mike to Alpha, take Alpha all the way around to Delta. Take Delta to Bravo and take Bravo to there. And that's it. Straightforward, easy enough. And you simply do it over and over. Now, the secret to using your simulator effectively to save money is to do what I just did. In the case of taxiing, it's simply a matter of knowing where you are, knowing where you need to go, and getting your instructions and connecting the dots and follow the signs. As a traveling consultant, I've been through dozens of airports all over the world, and you've learned to navigate by following the signs. Once you get good at following the signs and you have something to go by, a route should be good to go. Taxiing is one of those things, we take it for granted. FSX gives us the progressive taxi option, just follow the lines. But whenever you're flying in the virtual airlines or in a multiplayer session, you don't have that option. You got to know what you're doing. And I'm hoping that this short video, which took me about 4 hours to make, will help you become more proficient at taxiing. All right, that's all I have. My name is Flightsimguy. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.